find out who that is.
Can't read that.
Commissioner Gilman, you good to go?
Yes, sir.
Sherman? Okay. We're good? All right. Good morning, everyone. Just as a reminder, please silence your mobile devices. We're going to go ahead and get the meeting started. All right, today is March 17th. It's 10:02 a.m. There's a quorum present. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. On to item number 2 on today's agenda is to convene as the Story County Board of County Commissioners. Bringing us to item number 3, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you can all join me for that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're on to item number 4 on today's agenda. It's public comment. Public comment is welcomed at the beginning and end of each meeting. These comments should be limited to matters not on today's calendar or agenda. Public comment is again welcomed after each item on the agenda, and those comments should be limited to the agendized topic. As a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes per individual. There will be a timer up here. With that said, is there any public comment in the courtroom today? If there is, please come on up and state your name. All right, not seeing any public comment, we're going to move right along to item number 5, which is discussion for possible action, consideration and possible approval of the agenda for the March 17, 2026 meeting. County Manager Osborne, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are not, Chairman. I just want to remind the audience that there are several public hearings, either at 10 o'clock or 10:30, that we do not have to get to those right at those times. We just cannot be on those items before those times. So we may have some housekeeping as long as this board agrees to do that before those items come up. So just so you're aware. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments regarding the items on the agenda today?
Just that I will be recusing from items 14 and 15 today.
Okay. Vice Chairman, do you have any questions or comments?
I'm good to go, thank you.
All right, how about public comment? Any comments regarding today's agenda? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I move to approve today's agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. On to item number 6, which is discussion for possible action, consideration and possible approval of the minutes from the February 17th, 2026 meeting. Commissioner Gilman, any questions or comments on those minutes?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
No, thank you.
All right, how about public comment? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I move to approve the minutes from our February 17th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. On to today's consent agenda. Commissioner Gilman, any questions or comments about the consent agenda?
None, thank you.
All right, Vice Chairman, any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
How about public comment regarding the consent agenda? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I move to approve today's consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. On to item number 8, which is discussion for possible, discussion only, no action, no public comment will be taken. These are committee and staff reports, and we're going to kick things off at the Sheriff's Office today.
Nothing today, thank you.
All right, thanks, Sheriff. How about the Fire Protection District?
Nothing today.
All right. Public Works?
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Jason Worsbicky for the record. This quick update, the highly anticipated Mark Twain Reader Board and monument sign will begin being installed on Monday the 30th.
Holy.
We'll have a ribbon cutting shortly after.
Great news. Thank you.
That's all I have.
All right, well, that is a great update. Commissioner Gilman, questions or comments?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
I appreciate your diligent work on this complex project, thank you.
Thanks for the update, Jason. How about our projects manager, Mike Northern?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mike Northern, Project Manager. Just wanted to update the board on one item. The Lockwood Senior Center project was featured at the recent American Society of Civil Engineers banquet, annual banquet that they have. It was featured as a significant project in northern Nevada, and we actually ended up coming in second place for the Project of the Year. So Director Stacy York and I attended the banquet, had a fabulous dinner, hung out with a bunch of engineers, and saw our project here in Story County make some waves.
Fantastic.
That's all I have. Thank you, sirs.
You mind me asking, what
Yeah.
was number one?
It was Carson City Fire Station 55 made Project of the Year. There was some unique design going on in there with it being an EOC and some other fun stuff.
Awesome.
But ours
Second
was
place is great.
right there.
Awesome. Congratulations to both of you guys. Commissioner Gilman, questions or comments?
No, congratulations. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Vice Chairman? All right, appreciate it.
I'll say thanks on behalf of the entire team.
The entire team, absolutely. Thank you. All right, moving right along to our Business Development Director.
Nothing today.
All right, thank you. How about the Grants Manager?
Nothing today.
All right. Our Admin Officer?
Lisa myself for the record. Just a couple of updates on our parks assessment and study. We are going to be having 3 town halls for these. One of them is going to be in Lockwood on April 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. The next one will be at Piper's Opera House on April 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. And the next ones will be down at Mark Twain on April 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. And this will be concerning all parks within Story County, not just in that general area. That's all I have.
All right, thank you for that update, Lisa. Commissioner Gilman, questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Vice Chairman? Awesome. Do you mind just shooting the commissioners the schedule for those,
Yes.
please? Thank you. How about emergency management?
Good morning, Adam Wilson, Director of Emergency Management for the record. A couple quick updates. We had our town hall last week for the Mark Twain evacuation exercise, which would be next Saturday, the 28th. We didn't see as much public participation as we would have liked, but I get it. It was a Tuesday night at 5:30. People have work and life. So what we really need is folks to just help spread the word, because the more people that participate in the exercise, the better data we'll have to show how long it'll take to actually evacuate that community. And we'll be able to get those resources out to them of what to take in an evacuation and how it will be communicated. Next, through Quad County Public Health Preparedness, they had a significant chunk of change left over this year from a grant for outreach. So we're going to be getting some of the Ready, Set, Go material for handouts at our tabling events. There'll be magnets that folks could put on their fridge. It'll all be branded Story County. And they're also going to be purchasing billboards on the 50 corridor, the 395 corridor, and the I-80 corridor, kind of boxing in the 4 counties. That'll have the Ready, Set, Go terminology on it and links for the different emergency management groups within those jurisdictions. So we're very thankful for that. And then April 14th, I've been asked to facilitate a mass casualty exercise for UNR, the School of Medicine, School of Nursing, School of Public Health, and the TMCC paramedic program. So I was very flattering to be asked to facilitate an exercise for all those folks. And that is all I have.
Awesome, thank you very much. That reader board will come in handy in Mark Twain.
Yeah, very good.
Commissioner Gilman, questions or comments?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman? All right, thanks again, Adam. Congrats on that presentation gig. How about the Virginia City Tourism Commission?
Good morning, Commissioners. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Todd Tuttle, Director of Tourism. We just want to follow through with a great turnout for the oyster fry that we had last weekend, and appreciate greatly all the departments that were involved, the Sheriff's Department, to be able to make sure that traffic was controlled, people stayed in line where they should have been. our emergency management for help set up in preparation for parades and the safety that's involved, fire department for being able to help set up and establish the barriers necessary, and all those volunteers that were there to help clean up and work through the whole program. It really made a great turnout. Just for your information, it was the largest turnout we've ever seen for the oyster fry, where we usually see 350 to 400 participants. We saw over 650. Most of the cooks in preparation came up with some fantastic concoctions, and the voting was quite close for the number one produced event this time, so we had a great turnout. We just finished a nice sales mission over to Denver and Salt Lake as we expand some of the markets for tourism coming in, particularly with the 250 America celebrations coming up. The Go West will be having a conference here. We'll be bringing a number of FAM tours up on Saturday, the 28th and 29th, well, Saturday and Sunday, the 28th and 29th with them. Upcoming events is for the father-daughter celebration, which will be Saturday, April 11th. Wonderful chance to see all those great young daughters dressed in beautiful costume to be able to go to the dance themselves. The Grand Prix will be Friday through Sunday, April 24th through 26th, and the chili cook-off, mark your calendars, coming up in May. That's my report. Any questions?
Great update, Todd. Thank you. Commissioner Gilman, you have any questions or comments for Todd?
No, thank you, Todd.
Vice Chairman?
No, thank you.
All right, appreciate it. How about the Comptroller's Office?
Nothing at this time.
Planning Department?
Nothing today, thank you.
Health and Community Services?
Nothing today.
Quarters Office?
Nothing today, thank you.
All right. IT?
Good morning, Commissioners. James Dean, Story County IT Director. A couple of quick updates. We got the camera and access control project at the Lockwood Senior Center updated, so we've got some better vision down there, better security, and also we've been installing fiber with our nonprofits in town here, getting them up on the 1 gigabit connections. St. Mary's got that done. We're working with Community Chest to get all their buildings completed, and also at St. Mary's we upgraded their Wi-Fi access points. That's all I have today.
Thanks for that update, James. Commissioner Gilman, you have any questions or comments for James?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
I do not, thank you. All right.
Thanks again, man.
Thank
Good
you.
news. How about Human Resources?
Good morning, Commissioners. Brandy Lopez for the record. It's that time of year again that we review the county's health insurance program and evaluate our renewal options. I'm pleased to report that our medical claims versus premium ratio has stabilized. And for the first time in several years, we were offered a 5% reduction in health insurance premiums from Anthem, equating to approximately $200,000 in savings. This reflects improved claims performance and responsible plan utilization. There will be one more minor change to our health benefits this year. The IRS has mandated an increase in deductibles for high deductible health plan options to about $100 for individual maximums and $200 for family maximums. This adjustment is federally required and not carrier driven. On the dental side, claims came in higher than Anthem projected, resulting in a proposed increase of about 23.25%. In response, we issued a competitive bid to evaluate alternative carriers and ensure we are receiving the best value for the county. After reviewing the proposals received, we determined that remaining with Anthem was the county's best interest. The cost savings from switching carriers were not significant enough to justify the administrative burden, potential benefit disruption, and transition challenges for employees would face. We were able to negotiate a 2-year dental agreement with Anthem that caps next year's increase to no more than 7%, providing greater cost predictability moving forward. Overall, the county will realize an estimated net savings of approximately $160,000 this year on the insurance program, and there will be no disruption to employee medical coverage.
Awesome. Thank you for that update, Brandy. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
No, thanks. All right.
Good news. Thank you. How about community development?
No updates today.
All right, thank you. How about our public information officer?
No updates today, thank you.
All right. How about the assessor's office?
Nothing today, thank you.
All right. How about the DA's office?
Nothing today, thank you.
All right. County manager?
I have nothing, thank you.
Unbelievable. Clerk treasurer's office?
Morning, Commissioners. Jim Hindle, Clerk and Treasurer. We have just closed the period of collection for our fourth and final property tax payment for real property. We will be now focusing on contacting those who have a balance due and getting those delinquency letters out in the next month and following up on that so we can close the tax rolls this year. But I expect we're going to be doing pretty well this year. We'll see how things go for the final couple months. Also, as of last Friday, the non-judicial candidate filing period closed, and we have 3 contested races now that will be going on in the county. That is the race for County Commissioner District 2, the race for District Attorney, and of course, as filed in January, the race for Justice of the Peace. I do want to congratulate our 3 filed candidates for the Canyon GID. Since they filed and were unopposed, they are automatically elected and will serve again in the next term. Any questions?
Commissioner Gilman, questions or comments for Jim?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
Thanks.
All right. Nothing from me, Jim. Thank you very much. All right. Is there anybody that I did not call on that has an update for us today? All right. Thank you, everybody who gave updates. We're going to move right along to item number 9, which is board comment. No action, no public comment will be taken. Start off to my left. Commissioner Gilman, you have anything for us today?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
No, thank you.
All right. I've only got 2 announcements today. Unfortunately, we lost 2 Story County residents over the last 2 weeks. If we can have a moment of silence for Alicia Cottrell. She worked a long time down in Lockwood at our food bank. And then obviously most of us know our Director for Community Development, Pete Renault, passed away. He's also been a long-time Highlands resident and been working with the county for many years. So if we can have just a few moments of silence for both those folks, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Moving on to item number 10 is our 10 a.m. public hearing. We're going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. If there's any public comment from anyone in the courtroom, please come on up. This is the public hearing on resolution number 26-817, declaring Story County's intent and its decision to lease a portion of APN 001-082-14, also known as the Old Corner Bar or the saloon area of Piper's Opera House, as authorized within NRS 244.283 and other matters properly related thereto. So the public hearing is now open. If there's any public comment in the courtroom, please come on up and state your name for the record. All right, not seeing any public comment at this time. Vice Chairman, are you prepared to make a motion?
I am. I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to close the public hearing on Resolution 26-817, declaring Story County's intent and its decision to lease a portion of APN 001-082-14, known as the Old Corner Bar or the saloon area of Piper's Opera House, as authorized within NRS 244.283 and other matters properly related therereto.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to item number 11, which is discussion for possible action. Consideration and possible approval of the highest responsible and qualified bidder relating to Resolution 26-817, declaring Story County's intent and its decision to lease a portion of the Old Corner Bar. Who's going to kick this off? Austin or Brian?
Yes.
All right.
You can hang on to those. So there's only one. Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Brown from the District Attorney's Office for the record. This is a unique process. I know this commission has leased properties under different statutes before, but I thought it would be appropriate real quickly to go through the process that's required under these given circumstances. Austin and his team, along with consultation of the DA's office, has spent a significant period of time developing the process that we'll go through so that the process conforms to the statute as well as is open and transparent to the public as possible. So what I'll do is I'll go through this process with you and let everybody know. Each one of the commissioners should have the outline of the process in front of them, and for the public, I believe we've made some copies in the back if you wanted to follow along, if you desire. So pursuant to the statute, the written bids that are received for the lease of this property had to be received in a sealed form prior to the meeting, prior to 10 o'clock. And at this time, what we will do is the clerk's office, who is responsible for receiving those bids, will present those packets to the chair, and the chair will open that packet one at a time, and the chair will only read the name of the individual who presented the sealed bid, and obviously you're going to state that it's in a written bid format. You're then going to hand the packet to staff, which is going to be the county manager and Lisa, and they will announce the name of the person for each bid packet. They're going to remove each document in the open packet one at a time, announce that each document required in the RFQ is either present or not present in the packet, and then we will confirm that each packet meets all of the criteria as far as they provided those particular documents. When they get to the bid amount, they will state whether the bid amount meets the minimum requirement, because there was a minimum bid in the RFQ, and then they will announce the amount of that bid for each one of the bids that we received. Just to cover it, it's not in the outline, but I think it is now important. There is a process, or there was a process available that the board could also receive an oral bid. However, the oral bid process required a written notification 5 days in advance of the meeting, which would have been last Thursday. And there were no, to my knowledge from the clerk's office, there were no notice of written or of oral bids received by that date, nor as of today any received with a postmark of the due date. So that there is no oral bid process today, and the board would be precluded from hearing or taking any oral bid. Once all the bids are accounted for and tabulated, Austin will announce to the chair the number of qualified bidders, the names and the amounts going from lowest to highest, and if there are any bids that do not meet the requirements, meaning they failed to produce some of those documents, they would also state that. There'll be a short recess so that we're able to go and copy those things, so each one of the commissioners can then, as they're deliberating, look at the packets that were submitted. I know that at that time, the bidders that submit packets that we've received will be welcome to accompany staff to the copy machine to make sure that their entire bid packet is copied and presented to the commission as it was received and opened here in the courtroom. There's some other thing we're going to take. There'll be public comment and those type of things at the end, and the board can deliberate and ask questions of the bidders if they want. One thing from a legal standpoint that I wanted to make clear to the board for the board's benefit and also to members of the public is that the statutory requirements does not empower the board to pick who you like. It requires the board to pick the highest bidder if they met the qualifications. What it doesn't give you, if they all met the qualifications, it doesn't give you the authority to weigh the qualifications of one over the other. Just to give you an idea, just a small example, if someone produced a packet with their experience and they have, 45 years of running businesses throughout the United States, and another person may have very limited, they both qualify under the statute, and so you have to take the highest bidder. So there's not a lot of discretion. The board can look at the packet, and if under the board's decision, and they have an articulable basis that they believe that someone is not qualified based upon the documents they submitted, you can make a determination that that bidder is not qualified, therefore they're not considered, and then the highest qualified bid. So there's a distinction there, but you would have to make and articulate findings that would support that the reasons that you're saying that they're not qualified. At the end of the process, there'll be a motion. The board has several options. All the motions, I believe, are presented in the packet to the board. But with that, I can have the clerk present to the chair unless there's questions at this point from the board.
Commissioner Gilman, you have any questions or comments?
I'm okay at this time.
All right. Vice Chairman?
No, I think I'm fine, thank you.
All right, I'm fine as well.
Okay.
Thanks for that explanation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so, yeah, from what I'm seeing is we're seeing the clerk is presenting, it looks to me like a single packet, but Mr.
So
Chairman.
is this the only bid?
Yes.
Okay. That makes life even easier. So I wasn't paying attention, so now I have this and I'm giving it to you guys.
Actually, hold on.
You're gonna open one at a time and announce only the name of the individual who presented it and stated in the written bids.
Commissioner, I knew I should have had a quiz for you.
Yeah, only talked about it a few times.
And for the audience, if you didn't hear that, the next step is for the chair to announce the name of the bidder, and that's it at this point.
All right, so the name of the bidder is Ryan Brandon.
Then you're gonna hand it to
County manager, there it is.
Thank you.
Please verify that everything's in there.
All right, we're going to go through a process here. I'm going to narrate every step along the way. Lisa and I are going to go through a tabulation sheet with all of the things in the RFQ, and then we'll do exactly what Attorney Brown said, so you can hear the process here. So please be patient if we take pauses along the way as we make sure we do this correctly. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to announce the name also of the bid packet being evaluated at this point, and it is Brian Brandon is the bid packet.
You're gonna review each one document at a time.
Okay,
Okay. I'm gonna ask you, is there a statement of skills and experience provided in the packet?
okay, skills and experience, let me look over the packet. Okay, there is a statement of skills and experience in the packet.
Check. Is there a statement of financial information provided in the packet?
There is a statement of finance contained in the packet.
Is there a proposed bid amount that meets the minimum amount of $1,970 a month?
There is a bid amount shown, yes, that meets or exceeds that amount.
What is the proposed monthly bid amount?
The proposed monthly bid amount is $2,501 per month. Okay. At this point, I'm going to announce to the chair that all of the bid packets that we received are accounted for and tabulated. I'm also announcing to the chair that the qualified bidder's name and amount is Ryan Brandon, and the amount is $2,501 per month. This is the only bid, so there is not going to be a ranking of these for any numerical amount. There's one bid.
All right. Since there's one bid, are we gonna omit the copying of the bids? Or do you still wanna go through that process?
That be at the discretion of the chair with consultation of the members of the board.
Commissioner Gilman, would you like them to make copies of the bid, and would you like to review the bid packet before we move forward?
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, Vice Chairman, would you care to look at the bid
Yeah,
packet?
I mean, unless staff tells us there's a reason to think that maybe the bid isn't fully responsive, I don't see a reason to go through that.
All right, fair enough. I think we're good if we can omit the copying of the bid packets.
Okay.
All right, so that brings us to,
So I'm going to handle
I'm gonna,
copy to the chair.
Great.
That is the entire bid packet.
thank you very much. I'm gonna go ahead and hand this off to you guys if you wanna take a real quick glance. I'm gonna go ahead and call for public comment at this time. Is there any public comment? Not seeing any public comment. I'll give you just a moment, and then I'm gonna ask if there's any questions from you guys again.
I have just a couple of kind of procedural questions, but may involve needing some input from the bidder as well, if that's okay.
Sure.
The first one is, I believe that it was advertised as a 3-year lease. I believe we're able to offer a 2-year extension to that lease. I don't know if that was mentioned up front in some of the information, and I just wanted to make sure that if we make a motion that we offer that, if that's something that the bidder would like.
Do you want
I can answer from a legal, you can answer it.
to go for it? Okay.
Lisa Missel for the record. So in the approved resolution, it was announced as a 3-year bid with an option to extend at a 2-year timeframe.
Okay, thank you, because I believe in some of the subsequent guidance and conversation, the 2-year extension kind of got lost. And so I
Correct.
just wanted to make sure that we were okay doing that. And then I guess that would be a question for Ryan, is if we can offer that up to a total of 5, that option, is that something that he's interested in?
If you're gonna answer, please come up to the podium if you don't mind, Ryan. And just state your name for the record, please. Thank you.
Ryan Brandon for the record, and yes, we would take that off.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And then the second thing is, I believe that either the resolution or the bid packet mentioned small annual increases, and I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. That was expected. I think it was a 3% or
3%,
something like
yeah.
that. Everyone's expecting that.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Are there any other questions for Ryan Brandon before he leaves? Commissioner Gilman?
None for me, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so at this point, I assume there are no other questions from the board. Is that correct? All right. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and ask Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
I think I am. Let me just confirm. So I, Commissioner Mitchell, approve Ryan Brandon as the highest responsible and qualified bidder with a lease amount of $25.01 per month, not including additional fees for water at an additional fee of $30 per month and electricity of $85 per month, to be included with the monthly lease amount as relating to Resolution 26-817, declaring Story County's intent and its decision to lease a portion of APN 001-082-14, known as the Old Corner Bar, or the saloon area of Piper's Opera House, as authorized within NRS 244.283, and other matters properly related thereto, for an initial term of 3 years with an option to renew for 2 more.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. At this time, I want to note that I put the bid packet back into the envelope. That's going to get securely taken care of. I do want to take a moment to thank staff and those interested looking to lease the Old Corner Bar. I know it's been a clunky process, but we're finally here. I'm glad to be here, and again, thank you to staff and those who participated and my fellow commissioners in making this decision. So,
Absolutely.
thank you, everybody. That wraps that up. So we'll move on to the next item on today's agenda.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yeah.
may, I just want to thank Ryan for going through that process. I know it was probably more painful than it needed to be, but we're committed to making sure we do things properly and right. So we're excited to have you on board and look forward to your success.
Indeed. All right, so moving on to item number 12. This is our 10:30 a.m. public hearing. This is the public hearing for the second reading of Bill number 148, Ordinance 26-336, to change the Story County Code 5.10.050, Section C, cannabis establishment licensing, to reduce the requirement for cannabis licensees to remit a fee equal to 3% of gross revenue to 0%. Laura? Oh, excuse me. Do you have anything to add before I open the public hearing? All right. So with that said, the public hearing is now open. If there's any public comment regarding this item, I would ask that you come up now, state your name for the record.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jess Costello. I'm one of the owners of a Pure Tonic dispensary located out in the Industrial Center. I would just like to thank the board for hearing this today and let you know that we appreciate doing business here in Story County. I just have a couple of comments on why we think it makes sense to reduce the licensing fee from 3% to 0%. The first one is the cannabis in this state is heavily taxed at the wholesale level, the retail level. A good portion of those taxes go to the Cannabis Control Board, which is the regulatory body at the state level. And they're responsible for most of the regulation of the industry. They take on the burden of most of that. And so we think with those taxes that it would make sense that this gets reduced at Story County. Furthermore, there is a 7.6% sales tax on the cannabis at the retail level that goes to Story County. The second point I'd like to make is that any decrease in taxes, if it were to be approved, that would be passed directly on to the customer, and so it would be a customer savings. Generally, all those taxes are just kind of passed on to the customer. So we wouldn't directly benefit as a business, but the customer would. And those are the two main points I'd like to make today, and if the commission has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Appreciate it. We can hit questions on the next agenda.
Okay. Thank you,
Appreciate your
Commissioners.
comments. Is there any other public comment related to this item? All right, not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to close the public hearing for the second reading of Bill number 148, Ordinance 26-336, to change Story County Code 5.10.050, Section C, cannabis establishment licensing, to reduce the requirement for cannabis licenses to remit a fee equal to 3% of gross revenue to 0%.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. On to item number 13, which is discussion for possible action. Consideration and possible action on second reading of Bill number 148, Ordinance 26-336, to change Story County Code 5.10.050, Section C, Cannabis Establishment Licensing, to reduce the requirement for cannabis licensees to remit a fee equal to 3% of gross revenue down to 0%. Laura?
Thank you. Laura Mather for the record. NRS allows counties to charge up to 3% gross revenue fee, but they do not put a minimum on it. So the county does have the option to reduce that down to 0. So this would be the second and final reading of that change in the ordinance.
All right, thank you, Laura. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments on this item?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
No, I don't have them.
All right, is there any public comment at this time? All right, not seeing any. I do just want to make a mention, thanks to staff for going through this work on this item. I truly appreciate it. With that, Vice Chairman, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to adopt the second reading of Bill number 148, Ordinance 26-336, to change Story County Code 5.10.050, Section C, Cannabis Established Licensing, to reduce the requirement for cannabis licensees to remit a fee equal to 3% of gross revenue to 0%.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you again, Laura. Sir, thank you for taking the time to be up here. Appreciate it. Moving on to item number 14, this is discussion for possible action, consideration and possible approval on the business impact statement amending Story County Code, Chapter 5.16, by reducing the annual brothel license fee from $86,000 to $0, increasing the loan amount related to a brothel that must be reported to the sheriff's office from $25,000 to $200,000, changing brothel fees from being set by resolution to being set by ordinance, and for the county manager to sign said business impact statement. I do just want to note that Commissioner Gilman recused himself from this item, so it's just Commissioner Mitchell and I. And with that, Laura, you have the floor.
Thank you. Laura Mather for the record. So this is another step in our process to remove fees that have been added to certain businesses but not others. So this is the business impact statement that is required anytime a change, a financial change is made that would affect a business, even if it is on the positive side. This business impact statement is required. So this is requesting approval for this business impact statement. We will then have the county manager sign it, and it will be posted for a minimum of 15 days before the second reading of this ordinance.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Commissioner Mitchell, do you have any questions or comments at this time?
I'm just curious, Laura, if you can give us a little bit of background on the change in the loan amount. I'm not opposed necessarily. I just want some understanding there. If we know the change from $25,000 to $200,000 on the loan disclosure requirements.
Commissioner Mitchell, Austin Osborne for the record, County Manager. I'll be happy to answer that on behalf of Laura. I did consult with the Sheriff's Office on this. The Sheriff is involved in the backgrounds and checking on these things, and it felt appropriate in the conversations with him. He felt no issues with changing the amount to what it is today. I defer to the Sheriff if there's any specifics to the processes they would use in this.
Thank you, Austin. Vice Chairman, did that suitably answer your question?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
All right. I don't have any questions. Is there any public comment at this time on this item? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
I believe I am. I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to approve the business impact statement amending Story County Code Chapter 5.16 to reduce the annual brothel license fee from $86,000 to $0, increasing the loan amount related to a brothel that must be reported to the Sheriff's Office from $25,000 to $200,000, changing brothel fees from being set by resolution to being set by ordinance, and for the county manager to sign said business impact statement.
All right, there's a motion. I'll second that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 15, which is discussion for possible action. Consideration and possible action on first reading of bill number 149, ordinance number 26-337, amending Story County Code, chapter 5.16, brothels, section 5.16.130, license fees to update certain language, remove the monthly licensing requirement, provide that each license operator shall pay an annual business license fee of $25, in addition to any fees set forth by section 5.16.050, increase the loan reporting requirement to the sheriff's office from $25,000 to $200,000, and change the method by which fees are established from resolution to ordinance. Laura?
Thank you, Laura Mather, for the record. So to add to what you just stated, I just want to make sure that it's understood that any background investigation fees, any of those kind of fees, those will still remain in effect. We're just, again, removing that fee, those certain fees that are applied to certain businesses. And I'm happy to answer if there's any additional questions on that.
All right, thank
Hopefully.
you, Laura. Vice Chairman, do you have any questions or comments?
I just have one, and maybe it's not something that's easily answerable. Maybe it should have been asked under the last one, under the business impact statement. I don't know if it's possible to tell, but was there any sort of indication that by reducing or eliminating these fees that it might spark additional interest from additional businesses in this category? Do we have an idea of if it puts us at a substantially different place than other counties? Does it seem like, in my mind, I typically think of our current business that's operating under this guideline, but there's potentially a whole possibility of other businesses that might enter this field or come into the county in this regard. Did we look at all at if eliminating this fee would, has a likely potential to stimulate more brothel business within the county?
Yes and no. So, our goal, regardless of the businesses or how many we have, is to streamline how the businesses are able to work in Story County. And I do know that our zoning codes, if we have a concern that maybe there would be too many businesses in one location, I know our zoning codes specify how many of certain businesses can be in how many locations. It's my understanding that we've had interest in the past for additional brothels. I don't know if removing that fee would have changed their mind, though.
Great. Thank you. I'm somewhat familiar with the zoning codes. I know there are restrictions in some of the places where a business like this can be located. It's my understanding that on our previous item, under dispensaries, we have a strict limit on the number of licensees that are allowed within the county, but I don't believe that's the same for brothels. Is that correct?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I know it limits the location, but I don't know if it limits the number.
Thank you, Laura. Austin Osborne for the record. Laura's put a lot of work into this, but I can understand where she didn't look at these other angles and more in the land use element. I think she explained it well, and the first one is really the board had directed staff to look at discrepancies in the fees that are applied across the board and trying to keep things equitable and fair. And I think that's really what the board is asking for in this, whether it's cannabis or brothel or some of the other uses that we've looked at in the county, is trying to just make everything consistent and fair for everybody. And that really was the focus of the business impact statement and the focus of what's being put on here. The fee that a brothel provides today, it could be substantial enough to spur another business of that type, but I don't know that that would be a determining factor when you're talking about $75,000. I want to go back to the first question Commissioner Mitchell asked in the last agenda item. I'd like to clarify that just a little bit better as well, my response. Changing the fee from $25,000 or a loan from $25,000 to $200,000. We worked as a team, including the Sheriff's Office, in looking at that, and really since this ordinance was written inflation has happened, a $25,000 loan could be a piece of equipment out in the yard of the parking lot. It could be a vehicle. It's really a low amount, and we felt it was appropriate to try to bring that number up to the 21st century, and we felt that the number being proposed would be an appropriate number. Anything beyond that would be kind of an extraordinary loan. Anything below it would be a pretty common loan for an operation like that, a business. Hopefully that answers your questions.
Thank you. Yeah, that's helpful.
Okay, thank
Yeah, and I understand that you know, these broader questions were not necessarily part of the scope of what we were looking at. Unfortunately, in our position, everything that we do is scrutinized, and so trying to look at things a bit more holistically and what the impacts of a particular decision may be, because as I'm reminded, this time of year in an election year, though I'm not up for re-election, things are characterized, votes are characterized in all sorts of ways. And for me, this is a little bit challenging because this is a type of business that I don't necessarily support, but I'm very much committed to treating all businesses equally, and all businesses that are allowed should be given a chance for success. And so that's where I'm trying to find a balance where, you know, I'm trying to make sure I understand the impacts of our decision.
I understand, and I could probably figure it out, but I'm not sure how I could do a study to know that if removing those fees would encourage additional brothels to, I guess I could pool them. I'm not sure how I would accomplish that.
It's a fairly limited pool to start with, and so finding data that would support a conclusion one way or another would be difficult.
Commissioner Mitchell, Austin Osborne for the record. There was one other question you asked that I did not answer. How many are allowed in the county? The brothel ordinance, I believe, limits them to 5. It's not a zoning matter. This is in its own county code that limits distance and the number of them that may occur in the county altogether. They're also not allowed in certain areas of the county, like a mile from a residence, the historic district, things like that.
Thank you. If I remember correctly, it's an overlay of sorts, right? That's not specifically tied to what the underlying zoning of the lot is.
Yeah, by technicality, Austin Osborne, I wouldn't call it an overlay, but it's kind of an all-inclusive ordinance that really is if you meet these criteria, you can locate potentially with board approval and special conditions at, you know, certain locations in the county.
Got it, but independent from whatever the underlying zoning of the lot you're proposing is, or that may be considered, but that's not, it's not a use based on that zoning.
Yeah, it is not a use, Austin Osborne for the record, it's not a use based on the zoning in Title 17, but there are areas that are not allowed to be located in.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
All right. Is there any public comment at this time? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, are you prepared to make a motion?
I am. I see 2 recommended motions. I think they may be copies of each other. I'm just checking them to make sure there's no difference. All right. I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to adopt the first reading of Bill number 149, ordinance number 26-337, amending Story County Code Chapter 5.16 brothels, Section 5.16.130 license fees, to update certain language, removing the monthly licensing requirement and providing that each licensed operator shall pay an annual business license fee of $25, in addition to any fee set forth in Section 5.16.050, further to increase the loan reporting requirement to the Sheriff's Office from $25,000 to $200,000, and change the method by which fees are established from resolution to ordinance.
If there's a motion, I'll second that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Thank you, County Manager Osborne, for your input.
We take a break.
Sure. Let's just take a 10-minute break. We'll be back. It's 11:57. We'll see you all in about 10 minutes. You letting them know we're taking a break?
Everything is fine.
So we're gonna be looking at that, right?
Hey, just so you know, YouTube's still broadcasting that mic right in front of us.
Yeah, we are.
All right. So that's a yes, though?
Well, let me take a look.
Okay.
I'm confident, but I'm gonna look at it again. Yeah.
Can you make sure that that's all?
Okay. Yes, so I can really use it. Let's see the coast. What's that? The coast, let's see the coast. Yeah, there you go. No. They're gonna get commercials. The last girl's doing it. That's right. We can ask them, so we're good. Everybody's good.
I'm doing well. How you doing? I'm all right. Oh yeah, you guys are, going to be. When's the primary in June, and then November. Yeah. It'll start being like a one-legged man in a butt kick. There's just so much going on, and between our vendors, our Secretary of State's office, our poll workers, getting things set up, programming the election in the system. Right. But, yeah. So did I think Ann ended up talking to you guys about that. I don't want to talk to you.
Good, thank you. I did. I just want to change one sentence in it, and that's because the sentence correction, actually that whole paragraph is being replaced. So I just, So I thought right up, yeah, in April.
2 weeks before.
Correct.
So that would give you the chance to pull it up a week.
Well, no, because I have that 15-day business impact statement. That's why it's out so far, because of that impact statement. Yeah, whatever works best for you. And I felt terrible. I panicked on that other one.
No, don't worry.
Because I didn't realize what the process was. So,
Really? Just, probably were. Especially when the commissioners come for the fishing report. It's always good. We'll probably want to find a neutral.
You stay up there for a while, huh?
it's my last one, though.
Oh, your last one. He had came in right after.
Yeah, he might just be in the back of the
He is.
Okay.
Will you come see me when you're done? Okay. You figure out what's it. I don't think it's right. We need to decide what we want to do.
Sorry, gentlemen.
Oh, good. But yeah, right. I've got a closed session after this.
Come on.
June, we'll be back on.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Gilman, you ready?
Yes, sir, I am.
Vice Chairman? All right. It's 11:12. We're going to reconvene the meeting. Thank you for your patience. We're going to move right along to item number 16. Please note that Commissioner Gilman is back. And we're on to item number 16, discussion for possible action. Consideration and possible approval for staff to submit a report to Congressman Mark Amadei requesting congressional assistance to modify zip code boundaries in Story County. The proposed request would seek to expand zip code 89437 to encompass the northern portion of Story County and to expand the zip code 89440 to encompass the southern portion of Story County. Lara?
Thank you, Laura Mather, for the record. The zip codes. Recently, myself, Commissioner Mitchell, and Sarah Sturts were in Washington, D.C. for the National Association of Counties Conference. We like to make the most of our trips to Washington, D.C., and that's when we set up our meetings with the two senators and the congressman. While we were meeting with Congressman Amodei, I was giving him an update on our ongoing issues with the zip codes. His office has been really critical in us going through this process. Now, my last correspondence with them, if you remember several months ago, I reported that we are only allowed to have a zip code change that requires an act of Congress every 10 years. So, I thought I had a year and a half, 2 years to work on this. But while we were meeting with the congressman, he said, please have a report to me in 30 days, and we will get working on this before he's out of office. So that's what I'm working on. I'm requesting your permission to submit that. There is a map that was included on how we would propose to do that. So with the limited time to get this report to him, we talked to the congressman about sort of the best way to go about this, the least resistance from the post office, those kind of things. And it was agreed that it would be to expand the existing zip codes and not try to create new ones. So I don't know how this will go once it gets past his office and sort of the post office involved in those kind of things. 89437 already exists out in the Tri-Center. It's already being serviced by the Sparks Post Office. That would just kind of expand out. We will be requesting the same of 89440. Again, that's based on conversations of how can this go through the process as smoothly as possible. And I'm happy to answer any questions on this process.
Thank you, Laura. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments about this item?
Just thank you for working on this. I'm really looking forward to getting this moving forward, so thank you for your time.
Vice Chairman?
No comments at this time, thank you.
All right, yeah, I agree. It's been a long time coming. Thank you for trying to get this knocked out while he's still there. Is there any public comment on this item? All right, not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
I am. I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to approve submitting a report to Congressman Amodei requesting congressional assistance to modify zip code boundaries in Story County. The proposed request would seek to expand zip code 89437 to encompass the northern portion of Story County and to expand zip code 89440 to encompass the southern portion of Story County.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
I will keep the board updated on how it goes.
All right. Moving on to item number 17, this is discussion for possible action, review and possible approval of the Story County fiscal year 27 through 31 capital improvement plan. Comptroller McCain.
Good morning, Jennifer McCain for the record. In your packet is an overview of a capital improvement plan for Story County for the next 5 years, spanning fiscal year 27 through fiscal year 31. The CIP outlines the capital projects, including road improvements, water and sewer upgrades, and vehicle and equipment purchases, as well as studies to implement those items. The 5-year CIP includes a wide range of infrastructure, facility, and equipment investments with a total estimated cost of approximately $215 million over the next 5 years. That includes $52 million in just water and sewer projects. We are estimating expenditures spanning $34 million per year up to $57 per year, depending on project timing, phasing, and available funding sources. This year, we have narrowed the focus to several large projects that will require significant financial investment and staff time. As a result, some low priority and future wish list projects have been deferred to future planning years outside of this scope. The current plan does not yet include equipment and purchases in FY 30 or 31, and does not include study costs beyond FY '28, fiscal year '28, excuse me. Staff will continue to revise the CIP as additional information becomes available and project timelines are further developed. While the CIP reflects the 5-year plan, the only projects that are scheduled for fiscal year '27 will be included in the tentative budget once and if this is approved, along with any applicable carryovers from fiscal year '26, the current year. Future annual budgets will continue to be developed in alignment with the ever-evolving CIP priorities. Specific items over the next 5 years include equipment that spans between public works equipment, vehicles for public works, the sheriff's office, community development, and general county usage. Also in this plan is a historic structures report for the VC Depot, which will be expensed out of the rail project fund. It has been determined during the current year that a historic structures report is needed before work can begin on the VC Depot. This will give Story County a clear understanding of the building's conditions, prioritize the plan for restoration, including preliminary cost estimates to support further development of the CIP and ensure compliance with historic preservation. Also, major projects included in this plan are continuing projects that are partially grant funded, which include Station 71, which we're estimating an $8 million cost and 2 years to complete. The Tri-Sheriff Substation at $1.3 million that should be completed, is estimated to be completed in fiscal year '27. And Fairgrounds is another grant project with an estimated cost of $800,000 and is also estimated to be completed in 1 year. New projects that we are hoping that are already or will be applied for grant funding are the Gold Hill Water Collection System at $9 million, which will possibly be a 1-year project. The Silver City Water Line at $12.5 million that will take several years. Lead Siphon Project at a price tag of $25 million that will be a 5+ year project. The Lockwood Flood Mitigation, which is approximately $14 million and could possibly be a 2-year project. I don't have a solidified timeline on that one. Projects that currently don't have grant funding but are moving forward with county funds are the fire project with a fiber project with an additional $4 million to be expended and another 3 to 4 years. The road CIP project, road CIP that has various projects throughout the next 5 years. In FY '27, that's slated for Mark Twain roads at $5 million. An O Street drainage project in Virginia City at $1.5 million, and that is also a 1-year project. Another water project is recirculation and backwash tanks at the water plant. This is a $3.6 million project, estimated to last 1 year, and that will be funded out of the county's infrastructure fund. The Story County Justice Complex has a price tag of approximately $65 million and a timeline of 5 years. And we also have a pool project with varying estimates, the highest cost being $10 million, and that in the CIP is scheduled to begin in FY '29 with planning and design. Those are the major projects I wanted to bring to your attention. If you have any questions for me, or the committee is also in the audience, we're happy to expand on any of this.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments?
I do not, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right. How about public comment? Not seeing any public comment, Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
Get back up to there. I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to approve the Story County fiscal year 27 through fiscal year 31 capital improvement plan and direct the Story County Comptroller to budget for the fiscal year 27 capital plan.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Jennifer.
Well, thank you.
Moving on to item number 18, this discussion only. No action, no public comment will be taken. These are review and discussion of the 2026 to 2027 Story County tentative budgets. Comptroller McCain.
Good morning again. Jennifer McCain for the record. First going to go over the general fund, but I want to encompass all the budgets that are being presented today. This is a preview of the tentative budget, which is open for discussion to change things, add things. I am going to just highlight some of the major components before we bring it back to approval during the April 7th meeting. As we go through the presentation, please feel free to stop me at any time to ask questions or discussions regarding specific departments or accounts. Department heads and elected officials are also present if you have any specific questions within their budgets. So as far as the general fund, our revenues have increased approximately $18 million from the current year's budget. Ad valorem was entered in this budget using the clerk treasurer's pro forma. I should have the state's documents out in the next few weeks, so hopefully when we present the tentative budget, that will all be entered appropriately. I did just receive March's revenue projections from the state, so sales and C-tax will also be updated. I used last year's numbers. One major change also within this budget is we have a building permit increase of approximately 120% from the current year. This brings our budget more in line with what current actuals are, and a lot of discussion between community development and the fire inspection people to make sure that those numbers are a little close to normal. Within the general fund expenses, we have increased approximately 14% within all the departments of the general fund between all various departments. At this time, the budget reflects an estimated ending fund balance of approximately $23 million. This amount is likely to change as staff continues to refine the budget, including evaluating open positions and requests, potential transfers, and miscellaneous items that may not be fully incorporated into this budget. As I highlight some of the notable increases and decreases within certain departments, I'm not going to touch on every department or go line by line. This is just a high-level overview. If anyone has any questions, please stop me again, or if you think of something after this meeting, my office is always open for you to give me a call. Overall in this budget, as we heard earlier, we actually have a decrease in health insurance and an increase of dental insurance, which still will be providing approximately $150,000 decrease countywide in health insurance. Our liability insurance is currently estimated with a 20% increase. We usually don't get those numbers until closer to the final budget. Overall, within the entire county budget and funds, we are, what's in front of you is reflecting 17 new positions and 14 possible reclasses countywide, and we have several other items still open as HR is going through compensation studies and a few different things department specific. In the general fund, again, I'm just going to touch on a few of the departments, highlighting some issues. In the commissioner's overall budget, we have an increase of 33%. These increases include the equivalent of one new position in wages and benefits and regular merits and one possible reclass. In service and supplies, we have an increase of 40% or $1.4 million. This is in training, computer software, which is mainly the ongoing on-base implementation, as well as external government support. In the clerk treasurer's overall budget, we have an increase of 27%. The main drivers of this is two possible new admin positions. In the administrative or HR budget, we have an increase of 30%. Wages and benefits is they share this new position with the commissioner's budget. And we have an increase in service and supplies, which is a significant increase in professional services. In buildings and grounds, we have an increase of 11% wages and benefits due to one additional position. In the sheriff's department, we have an overall increase of 15%. That increase includes wages and benefits with 8 added new deputies. 6 of these will be patrol. 1 will be a school resource officer that the school will financially support that position, and an additional court service officer. It's important to note that these new additions of these positions, we have not added anything into the budget as far as vehicles for the patrol people or any of their uniforms or additional supplies that new employees bring with them. In their capital section of the sheriff's budget, this was actually a decrease of 30%. In community development, we do see an overall increase of 45%. This is in wages and benefits of 3 new positions and 5 possible reclasses. It's important to note here that this department did include all the subcategories for hiring new employees: desks, computers, possible vehicles. Vehicles are not within the general fund. The DA's office has an increase of 16%, which is specifically in wages and benefits for an additional admin position. In business relations, we have an overall increase of 33%. This is in the service and supplies section. We have additional grant software that's being requested and building maintenance on our nonprofit buildings, which includes St. Mary's Art Center and the 4th Ward building. We also have increases within our nonprofit support that we offer to our county nonprofits. This includes a child care subsidy, increases within community chest, being, again, the child care subsidy, the library, and other services that they provide for the county. In the senior center budget, we have a decrease of 16%, and this is mostly due to all the expenses that were needed to support the Lockwood Senior Center opening are not going to roll over and happen again. This brings us to a revenue to expense of, where am I? Sorry. The current revenue to expense is approximately $13 million. As a reminder, this is a preliminary tentative budget, and we will have more refined numbers coming before you in the April 7th meeting. Transfers out of the general fund to support other funds are currently projected at $10 million, and this is about half of the current year. However, we anticipate additional transfers may be needed, including potential transfers to support Piper's Opera House and the water and sewer funds. This concludes my overview of the general fund, and as a reminder, this is still a tentative budget. Staff will continue working on it. We will bring the final tentative budget to you for approval on April 7th, and then we will begin work on the final budget. So again, if you have any questions for me or any department heads of anything you've seen within the budget in your packet, we are happy to answer those questions.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments at this time?
No, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
No, I'm good.
All right, is there any public comment? All right, thank you for that, Jennifer. We are now on...
No, I'm not done.
No, I thought you were done.
We have a lot of other funds besides the general fund. Sorry. So I want to touch on a couple other funds within, and now I'm mixed up. Give me just 1 second. Within Story County. Again, this is a broad overview. If you have any questions for us, please don't hesitate to stop me. This is a report on our special revenue funds. These funds are established to account for revenues and expenses that are restricted or committed to specific purposes and must be used for those designated programs. Roads is a very significant special fund that we have. I think it's self-explanatory on what that department takes care of. The revenue is increasing approximately $5 million to be more in line with current actuals, yes. Revenues for the road fund include ad valorem, gas tax, and a portion of sales tax and interest from our investments. Expenses will be increasing in wages and benefits for reclassification of employees, and in capital improvements, we will have major road work done now that the CIP was approved in the Mark Twain area and smaller maintenance projects in Lockwood and 6 Mile. We have a projected ending fund balance of $15.7 million, which is an increase of approximately $5 million over the current year's projection. With this ending fund balance, we have determined that including the road department in the property tax apportionment is beneficial, and it alleviates the need from additional transfers from the general fund at this time. Within the equipment acquisition fund, revenue budgets are fairly static, have a very small increase of approximately 7%, which includes ad valorem and interest. Expenses increased approximately 42% or $900,000. Within the equipment acquisition fund we would like to purchase 9 pieces of equipment for public works, 3 pickups for public works, 3 rotation patrol vehicles for the sheriff's office, and 3 county vehicles for community development for 2 possible new inspectors, and 1 general use county vehicle. What is not included in this budget is any additional vehicles for new patrol deputies and possibly 1 additional vehicle for county use. With the presented budget, the estimated ending fund balance is approximately $6.7 million. This is 18% higher than the current year, so we definitely do not feel that there is an issue to add these additional vehicle requests. Extraordinary repairs and maintenance is one of our new funds that we implemented approximately 2 years ago. This is important. I want to note that we are spending money in this fund to upgrade the entire electric system within Piper's Opera House. This is something that has been determined not only important for bringing new events to Piper's Opera House, but also it's become a safety hazard and we need to mitigate this. That has, I don't know, did I say that has a price tag of $750,000 right now? That could change. In the infrastructure fund, the revenue is static at approximately $1.6 million. This is a 1/4 cent option tax that we get for 3 separate funds. The expenses we're planning in this fund include a full water project that has no grants, and it is a circulation and backwash water system project with a price tag of $3.6 million. We are planning on this project being shovel ready July 1 and anticipate no problems with it being completed within a year. The ending fund balance in the budget that you have in your packet is projecting $500,000. However, a large budgeted project for the current year is not going to happen until a couple more years out. This is the Gold Hill collection system. So I am anticipating that the ending fund balance at the end of fiscal year 27 is going to be closer to $4 million. Then within the V&T Rail Fund, I need to get, this is the historic structures report that I mentioned during the CIP. I need the board's approval. At some point, I will bring it back to you for full approval, but I have to go to the V&T Rail Commission next week and ask them for permission to spend this money. And that is all I have. While there are a lot of adjustments to be made in the tentative budget, including the Nevada Department of Taxation numbers, We do not feel that there's going to be any problem with getting you a full, final tentative budget by April 7th. Our goal is to have that budget as close to the final budget as we can get, so we have very minimal changes between the tentative and the final. Again, if you have any questions for me or department heads, we're here to answer them.
All right, Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
I don't have any special fund questions.
Okay. No questions, Jennifer?
Okay, thank you. And that's it for Story County. We can move on. That's all I have for Story County. Yep.
Okay, just clarify. All right, thank you for that, Jennifer. Now we can move to item number 19, which is to recess convene as the Story County Fire Protection District. Bringing us to item number 20, which is discussion only. Review and discussion of the 26th through 27th Story County Fire District tentative budgets. Comptroller McCain.
Good morning again, Jennifer McCain for the record. Again, for the record, this is a discussion of the fiscal year 26-27 tentative budget for the fire district. Today's presentation provides an overview of the tentative budget and highlights of some of the major components of this budget. We will bring the final tentative budget before the board on April 7th for your approval before we submit it to the Department of Taxation. Please stop me at any time to ask myself or the fire chief any questions within this budget. Again, only a high-level overview is what I'm presenting. Revenues are increasing approximately $11 million from the current budget. This includes ad valorem, which was entered with the clerk treasurer's pro forma. State numbers will be out in the next few weeks. Again, I had just received the March revenue projections, so there will be some slight changes within sales and C-Tax. The fire district also is seeing an approximate 120% increase in building permits. This brings it more in line with the actual current revenue that we're seeing. Again, Joe Starnes and Chief Reiser spent a lot of time working on this, and we feel we have a solid budget there. Expenses increased approximately 6%. Wages and benefits includes 3 additional requested paramedic positions, and they also have a slight health insurance increase. Within service and supplies accounts, we have some significant increases within communications, which is their radio and account, training, auto maintenance as they get their new service person inlined and taking care of their own vehicles and equipment. We have additions in computer software, and we have an increase in personal protective equipment. We do have some reductions within building maintenance, professional services, and medicals and physical line item. It's just been brought to my attention that medical and physicals will most likely come back up as I think it's SB 170, right? Was passed last year, so we need to put those items back into the budget. Currently, the transfers out of the general fund is $15.5 million, and that is going into the capital fund. We are also working on other transfers to support the fire district's other special revenue funds. At this time, the budget reflects an ending fund balance of approximately $10 million. It's important to note that we are in negotiations with the fire union, and none of those financial changes have been made within this budget. The other fund within the fire district that I'd like to touch on is the capital fund. It does have an increase in revenue of 28%, and this is because we have also added it to the property tax apportionment. Expenses include 3 new pickups, a new fire truck, a dozer and tender, and possible property purchase in Virginia City Highlands for an updated Station 72, planning and funding for Station 71 and Station 72, And the fire district is also planning on paying off an existing USDA bond of approximately $1 million to pay off this old bond that bought ambulances. In the coming weeks, we will be adding the equipment and projects that are rolling over from FY26. While again, some adjustments will be made to this tentative budget as we expect new numbers from the Department of Taxation and finalizing some of the expense accounts. We will bring this to you on April 7th, and then we'll begin working on the final budget. Again, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jennifer. Fire Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Fire Commissioner Mitchell, anything at this time?
Just one, and it's to make sure I'm reading things correctly. On these charts, the 2025, 2026 total activity, is that mid-year or is that reflecting something in the?
It's in December.
It's in December, thank you. That's all.
All right, no other questions at this time, Jennifer.
Okay. Do you have anything to add? Okay. And I'm done with that.
All right. Is there any public comment regarding the fire district budget? Discussion only.
I still take public comment, though.
Okay.
In case anybody has any questions about,
I know no motion.
Because we're ultra transparent.
Trying to be. I said it the first time that we weren't taking public comment. That was my mistake. All right. We are on to item number 21, recess to convene as the Story County Water and Sewer Board. Bringing us to item number 22, which is discussion only. Public comment will be taken. Review and discussion of the 26 through 27 Story County Water and Sewer tentative budgets. Comptroller McCain.
All right. Jennifer McCain for the record. Again, this is a preliminary tentative budget. We will have the final tentative budget for you April 7th. These summary sheets in your packet, I'd like to note that I did change this up a little bit. I separated it out, operational costs versus capital costs, because in the current year, it was approved to transfer $3 million to each of these funds to support capital costs. These are enterprise funds, and they should still produce enough revenue to pay for their operational expenses. So I will continue to separate these and track them separately. Operationally, the water revenue is increased 7%. Unfortunately, in the budget presented to you, the expenses have gone up 28%. So we will continue to refine that and see how we can bring those a little more in line. If we have no changes, $200,000 of the projected ending fund balance will be used for operation, which means we will reduce that fund balance to from $4.5 million to 4.3. It doesn't sound like a lot of money. However, when we get into the next section of this budget, we do have $43 million of infrastructure needs for the water department. And it would make more sense that we figure out how to lower our operational costs and be able to use this $4 million towards those $43 million of infrastructure costs. In this budget, we do have a capital items which will take away from the $3 million that we did transfer in here. There is $618,000 in equipment upgrades that are needed to keep the plant operating. Again, we are working close with Jason and his team to see where we can get these numbers to shake out. For the sewer fund, revenues are up approximately 8%, and their expenses look a little better with an increase of only 12%. If there are no changes, we will be using $64,000 of this ending fund balance, bringing that balance to $782,000. Capital-wise, with the approval of the CIP, we have, for the current upcoming fiscal year, we have a capital projects planned of $15.6 million. portion of that is being spent out of the infrastructure fund. That brings the remaining need to $12 million. Of that $12 million, we have one grant that we have already received that is money for us to spend of $2.5 million. So this leaves us with a need of $9.5 million. Of that $9.5 million, $6.5 is for sewer and $3 million is for water projects. What I'd like to ask the board to consider and start thinking about is, do we want to work on more transfers from the general fund for capital purchases only, so we can keep these items within their prospective funds and we can track the upgrades to our systems within these prospective funds? We are working on additional grant requests that could possibly bring us in up to another $5 million, but that would be spread over a couple years at this point. So I don't know if you want to discuss that, or if the board would rather that I bring in a proposal of what we could do to begin to start saving for these projects and funding for these projects as we move forward.
You good for now?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments at this time?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
Yeah, I mean, on a discussion-only item, are we really allowed to deliberate?
Well, she asked us a question, but technically I don't think we can give her an answer.
You can't deliberate towards a decision. You can ask questions and foster discussion, but not for the purposes of reaching a conclusion.
So we can't answer your question today?
Okay.
Right? You can ask questions about it.
No, we can't answer her question. She wanted direction regarding.
Right, you cannot make formal discussion under that.
Can they give me ideas of where they would like me to look for other funding?
Each individual commissioner would have the authority to discuss in the discussion section their thoughts on the appropriate budgeting processes.
Do you have any thoughts during your individual comment period?
I have lots of thoughts, and they often don't lead to a conclusion, which actually is a
That's
benefit
perfect.
in this situation. But don't necessarily get us to where we need to go. Yeah, I mean, I'm not aware of a lot of other funding sources other than the grants that we're pursuing and the general fund, pulling money from transferring money from the general fund in to fund these capital expenses. And so off the top of my head, I can't think of other places. I mean, the only other thought that I've had is that is something that I've mentioned. I just don't know if it gets us to where we need to go, and that would be to loan money into these funds, capture a return, interest of some sort that then could be used to fund these projects, but that's a much slower process. Mm-hmm. It's not, unless we're putting massive chunks of general fund money in there, loaning it over to be paid back at a future time, it's not going to accumulate in a quick manner that's going to get us what we need done here. So, yeah, I mean, we can discuss offline if brainstorming is helpful, but I think looking at, maybe looking at additional general fund transfers, as long as we're not sacrificing other priorities in other communities to do so. I think that's the caveat for me that would be important.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I would like you to look at other funding sources.
Okay.
Bring it back to us and see what's available.
Okay. One
Something
benefit
we're not
of
aware
transfers or loans, our interest apportionment is based on ending fund balance, and these funds would then in turn earn their own money, if you would like to, by transferring or loaning significant amounts of money. So I'll look at both options plus additional funding sources.
That'd be great.
And that's all I have for budgets.
Okay, great. Just one more time, no commissioner questions, we're good? Good, okay. Is there any public comment regarding the sewer fund? All right, thank you again, Jennifer, thank you for that recap. And that brings us to item number 23. That is to recess to convene as a Story County Licensing Board, bringing us to item number 24, which is the consent agenda for the Liquor Licensing Board. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions?
I do not, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
I don't either. I mean, putting this under consent agenda is totally fine for me, unless there's a reason to pull anything off to discuss, but otherwise I'm happy considering it all together.
Okay. Sheriff, do you have any questions at this time?
No.
All right. Then, sir, you have the floor.
Matt Willett, Under Sheriff for the record. All three applicants, there are no disqualifiers for any of the three applicants we have so far for first reading.
Thank you. All right, so, Vice Chairman, are you prepared to make a motion?
I am. I move to approve the consent agenda for the Liquor Licensing Board as presented.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any public comment regarding these items? Not seeing any. Again, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, on to item number 25 is to recess to reconvene as the Story County Board of County Commissioners, bringing us to item number 26, which is consideration and possible approval of the letters of support for federal community project funding. Sarah?
Sarah Starks for the record. So I'm requesting letters of support from the board to submit alongside our community project funding applications. The board provided letters of support for these projects last year as well. And Jennifer kind of alluded to it, but staff further evaluated the projects that we're submitting, and we're now recommending that we not submit the public safety complex through that CPF process. The project is currently estimated at $65 million, as Jennifer said, and that $3 million award that we could get through the CPF process would only cover a small portion of the total project costs. And additionally, accepting these funds would subject the project to Buy America, Build America requirements, which would increase overall cost of the project by up to 30%, potentially offsetting the benefit of the grant. So the projects we are moving forward with include the Silver City Water Main, Divide Water Main, A Street Road Rehab and Slope Stabilization, and the Siphon Replacement Project. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments at this time?
I do not, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
Sorry, I just want to confirm that I heard you correctly. It was just the 4 projects that we're considering and don't need to reference the safety complex?
Correct.
If in a motion for approval?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any public comment on this item? All right, not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to approve and sign the enclosed letters of support for federal community project funding requests for the Silver City Water Line Replacement, the Divide Water Main Line Replacement, the A Street Road Rehabilitation and Slope Stabilization, and the Water Siphon Replacement projects.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Sarah. Moving on to item number 27, this discussion for possible action, request for consideration and possible approval for the county manager to sign a request granting consent to the Great Basin Gas Transmission Company to access Story County-owned parcel 005-051-65 for a 2028 expansion project. Lisa?
Good morning, Lisa Massell for the record. This is a additional property from the other 2 that we had approved on February 17th, or that you approved. This letter had just gotten lost in the mail, so this is why this one's delayed. But essentially, it's just to expand natural gas up in the northern Nevada area, going across 6 different counties, including Story. And this one is for the property located at 2915 Waltham Way. Great Basin is going to add 212 new miles of pipeline and abandon 127 miles of pipeline that was constructed in the 1960s.
All right, that's it.
That's all I have.
Sounds good, thank you. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't think so.
Vice Chairman? Any public comment? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to approve the county manager to sign a request granting consent to Great Basin Gas Transmission Company to access Story County-owned parcel 005-051-65 for a 2028 expansion project.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Lisa. On to item number 28, this discussion for possible action. Discussion and consideration for approval extending the term of the interlocal agreement between Story County and RTC Washoe for the RTC Commuter Rail Service Planning Study from December 31st, 25 to June 30, 26, with all costs and terms to remain unchanged. County Manager.
Thank you, Commissioners. Austin Osborne for the record. County Manager, as you're aware, since 2025, we are engaged with the Washoe RTC on the interlocal rail study. We pay about a quarter of the cost of that, which is $100,000. They're not quite done with the study, so they simply just asked for an extension of the time until the end of June for them to wrap it up. There's no cost change and there's no terms changed.
All right, thank you, Austin. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
I'm fine, thanks.
All right. Is there any public comment? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to approve extending the term of the interlocal agreement between Story County and RTC Washoe for the RTC Commuter Rail Service Planning Study from December 31st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, with all costs and terms to remain unchanged.
Second.
We're gonna have to wait just a minute. There was a motion and a second. That's where we left off. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. On to item number 29. You know you're back up? Okay. Happy Jason. Discussion for possible action. Discussion and possible authorization for the county manager to sign a cooperative agreement between the state of Nevada, Story County, and Carson City to sponsor the state's permitting for the improvement and funding application for project 23-M03-09 and 23-M46 East Slope Transmission Main and additional catchment upgrades. Jason?
Good afternoon now, Chairman, Commissioners. Jason Worsbicky for the record. Just a quick staff summary. Pursuant to Assembly Bill 1, the state of Nevada seeks approval and funding from federal and other non-county sources necessary to repair and upgrade portions of the East Slope transmission main and additional catchment infrastructure that serves Story County and Carson City. The Marlette Lake water system infrastructure used in connection with water sales to Story County and Carson City is separately owned, maintained, and funded. However, because it serves as a facility for the collection, storage, and transport of water to the interconnection point of delivery with Marlette Lake water system into the Story County and Carson City public water systems, it is necessary for Story County and Carson City to sponsor the state's application for obtaining permits for the Nevada Division of Environmental Protection Bureau of Safe Drinking Water. This sponsorship will not cause Story County or Carson City to incur or assume any present or future obligation or liability of the project, the Marlette Lake water system, or the operation and maintenance and funding of the system. To give you a little more backstory on this, how this came about was many years ago, the State Public Works ran their own water treatment facility in Ash Canyon that supplied water to the Stewart Street facilities. And at one point in time, the water plant was considered defunct, and it would have cost multiple millions of dollars. So they just abandoned that plant. Carson City took over delivering the water system. So NDEP at that time pulled the public water system ID from the state of Nevada, Department of Public Works. The State Public Works assumed this East Slope transmission main wouldn't need to be permitted or reviewed by NDEP since they weren't considered a public water system. However, per NRS, where is it? Per NRS 445A.235, it is technically considered part of the transmission side of the system that's interconnected with the distribution side. So this would just be helping the state along. This project was completed actually about 3 months ago, so it's just kind of a housekeeping issue at this point in time. This is State Public Works.
Thank you, Jason. Commissioner Gilman, do you have any questions or comments at this time?
I do not.
Vice Chairman?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Public comment? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
I am. I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to authorize the county manager to sign a cooperative agreement between the state of Nevada, Story County, and Carson City to sponsor the state's permitting for the improvement and funding application for project 23-M03-09 and 23-M46 East Slope Transmission Main and additional catchment upgrades.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, guys.
On to item number 30. This is discussion for possible action. Discussion and possible direction to county staff to engage in discussion and develop a draft plan with Tesla, Nevada Department of Transportation, and other entities for the possible expedited expansion and improvement of the Patrick Interchange on I-80 serving the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, and to present findings and recommendations to the board at a later meeting. County Manager Osborne.
All right, thank you, County Manager Austin Osborne, for the record. There's a traffic problem on Interstate 80 near Tri-Center. So we are regularly, every day of our lives, thinking about it and talking about it and looking at ways we might be able to bridge a gap to try to resolve some issues until NDOT's able to get its highway widening project done along I-80 in that area. There's been some conversations with us and Tesla, as well as some others, and NDOT, about maybe some ways to use some creative ways through private means to get things done quickly that need to be done now. One of them is potential expansions to the Patrick Interchange that is desperately needed in the area. There's some traffic engineers doing some preliminary work saying that X, Y, and Z might actually return the 35 to 38 minute commute back to getting home from Tri-Center, except for times during, disruptions, but a normal commute. So I'm asking this board just to give me authorization to proceed forward in these discussions and potentially bring back to this board in a pretty quick period of time in a local agreement or some other way that we might be able to get this thing done in a very short period of time with a fiscal note attached to that we'll know a little bit more by that time.
All right. Thank you, County Manager Osborne. Commissioner Gilman, any questions or comments?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
I think this is great, let's go.
Couldn't agree more. Is there any public comment? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I, Commissioner Mitchell, move to direct county staff to engage in discussions and develop a draft plan with Tesla, Nevada Department of Transportation, and other entities for the possible expedited expansion and improvement of the Patrick Interchange on I-80 serving the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, and to present findings and recommendations to the board at a later meeting.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Moving on to item number 31, this is discussion for possible action. This is the consideration and possible approval of business license second readings, A through H. Commissioner Gilman, did you have any questions or comments?
None, thank you.
Vice Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to separate out item H for individual consideration.
Okay. So this will be the consideration and possible approval of business license second readings A through G. No questions from the commission. Any public comment? Not seeing any. Vice Chairman, you prepared to make a motion for the second reading?
Yeah, I move to approve the second reading of business licenses items A through G.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. On to what would be item number 32. This is the second reading for business license for U.S. Ghost Adventures LLC. And you going to take this or?
I'm happy to, yeah. So we approved the first reading with a caveat, and we asked this entity to come. We've had a bit of history with business licensing, and asked the company to come and maybe answer some questions and assure us, give us some ideas on how we can feel comfortable that they are prepared to follow our ordinances and licensing, and I think that's where we are today.
Okay. Before I ask for this gentleman to speak up, Commissioner Gilman, did you have anything at this time?
None, thank you.
All right. And what is this gentleman's name? Mr. Kilo, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. I am present.
All right. Did you hear Vice Chairman Mitchell's questions for you?
I did hear I did hear the Vice Chair's questions.
Okay. Did you have any answers for us, sir?
Yes, absolutely. So, firstly, I want to apologize on behalf of the company for any confusion, previously. So we had, at the point we began conducting tours in Virginia City, we called the city to indicate that there was not a business license, and so we commenced with tours, unaware that there was a county level business license we needed. So that was about a year ago. The county then sent the county sheriff to hold one of the tours in progress, which is when we first learned there was a county business license. And so since then, we immediately ceased the operations. We applied for the license several times, and are certainly willing to comply with any and all of the requirements. We just were unaware they existed at the point we began the tour a year ago. I am pleased to hear the Vice Chair. I was pleased previously, earlier in the meeting, hear the Vice Chair state that he believes all businesses should be given a chance for success. Certainly we, simply look to operate our tours, with that in mind. And so, and I'd be happy to speak to any specific questions, whatever they may be.
All right. Thank you, sir. Just for a point of clarification, you said that you contacted the city and did not know that the county had business license requirements. There is no city, so it's Story County, and then you would need a state license if I'm not mistaken. So just wanted to clarify, I don't know who you talked to when you said you talked to somebody at the city.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I guess, I would expand on that simply to kind of help the board, help the commission be reassured that there was no malice here. So at the point after the county sheriff stopped the tour and we began, seeking how to correctly acquire the business license, we began keeping the law. And so to simply, I think it'll just highlight the fact that this was merely confusion. So July 21st, we called, asked if business license were required, we called the planning department, we spoke with Kathy. Kathy wasn't sure. She so this goes on for several more steps, and that was after we began seeking out the license after the sheriff had stopped the tour. So I would just say that I would want to point out that we did make a diligent effort to try and determine what the requirement was. It was just simply by oversight. It was not an intention to operate without a license in the county, and I'm afraid it was interpreted that way. But unfortunately, we're a small company. We only have 12 full-time employees. We've been around 6 years, and we're not local, and so we do have to rely on calling around through a number of different offices to figure out where we're supposed to go. And so somewhere in there, we just missed the allegation.
Okay, noted, thank you. Vice Chairman Mitchell, did you have any questions?
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you, Mr. Keeler. That does provide some clarity. I know sometimes there's some ambiguity because the Tourism Commission handles licensing for events, and so there may have been some lack of clarity on whether this fell more under an event or more of an operating business, which is typically where the business license comes in. I think one of the concerns that have been expressed in the community previously was the tours commencing or using private property as a meeting location without the permission of the owner, and I believe that that's been rectified. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to share what arrangements have been made to make sure that that's not the way that things will happen going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the question, Commissioner. And so our tours take place exclusively on the public sidewalk, traditional public forum, and we merely we sell the tickets online, just meet the tour guide at the location on the public sidewalk, and then they commence walking down the sidewalk, talking about history and those stories, etc. And so we do have to provide the guests with a start location that is the address behind the public sidewalk. And so, yes, I think there was some confusion as to where the tour would begin. We don't actually begin in the building. The tour guides are local, but we don't have a local office. And so we're simply beginning, we identified that address and merely mean we're meeting on the public sidewalk in front of that location. Again, we're very indifferent as to where precisely we begin. If the county has a preference, and we're happy to begin in a range of locations that are open to the public. We merely selected a public sidewalk and identified the address that was in proximity to that sidewalk. And so I understand that that is different, I think, than most businesses that apply for a license, and they are operating a physical location. And so I think that probably contributed to some of the confusion as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And just for my other commissioner's clarification, I believe that the identified location on the sidewalk is approximately in front of the district attorney's office. And so whereas previously the identified location, there's appeared to be some ambiguity because there was a private business there, and it was kind of, there was a picnic table that was identified that was on their property, and so I feel a little bit better about identifying a place that's in front of a county building. That feels like it's less opportunity to misunderstand. Great. Then I think the only other thing that I have is just maybe a personal favor, and this is not necessarily a condition that I would propose, because I certainly believe in the First Amendment, right? And so people are free to use speech how they prefer. I find our history as it is to be compelling, and I found the way that the tours were advertised seemed a bit sensationalized, and so I don't, I'd be happy to work with or connect you with resources locally to maybe find ways to highlight what I would view as the more authentic history of the town, as opposed to a sensationalized version of the history. I think we take a lot of pride in the history and find it to be really interesting without having to embellish or go to extremes in describing that. So I would just mention that and offer to help in any way if we can find a way to make sure that the way that the tours are presented are certainly appealing in your eyes, but also are not what I would call over the top. So thank you. Those are all the questions that I have.
All right. Commissioner Gilman, did you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
All right, is there any public comment? Not seeing any. Mr. Kilo, did you have anything to add at this point, sir?
No, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Vice Chairman, are you prepared to make a motion at this time?
I am. I, Vice Chair Mitchell, move to approve the second reading of the business license for U.S. Ghost Adventures LLC.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you for your time, Mr. Kilo. Appreciate your attendance. All right, moving on to item number 33. This is second and final time for public comment during this meeting. Is there any public comment in the courtroom? Not seeing any. It is 12:18 p.m. We're going to call this meeting adjourned. See you all in a couple weeks, and we do have a closed session. I don't know. Brandy's going to get something. We just take a 5-minute recess.
Absolutely.
Thank you. 12:15 too.